Today I'm reviewing the 2023 Alfa Romeo Giulia Estrema. I'm going to take you through absolutely everything there is to know about this car, but first, let's take it on the road. All right, on the road, Alfa Romeo Giulia, where it belongs. There's no other place I'd rather be than right here in this driving seat to tell you about all the specs, numbers, and all that stuff. So let's start off first with the price. So the price as tested with this is $68,900. This is not the Quadrifoglio, so the price does go up from here, but the Estrema is expensive, period. I think that's probably one of the biggest faults of the car, is that it is so expensive and you're more paying for the name than you are the actual vehicle and what it offers you. But if you do have the budget for it, I can almost guarantee you're gonna have a great time. So let's take a look under the hood. We have a 2-liter direct injection turbocharged engine. Now that engine is gonna give us 280 horsepower, 306 pound-feet of torque, which is pretty impressive because it can absolutely rip. Yeah, there it goes. This is so much fun. There is not a moment when I drive this car that I don't smile or I don't laugh at something, because it's just so good. So much fun to drive this thing. And I also have my paddle shifters that I could have a great time with as well. But yeah, it's just incredibly fun. Like, there is just no other way to describe it. Like, if you can afford the price and you can get over some of the shortcomings of the car, you're gonna have fun every time. I can almost guarantee that. So let's park this vehicle up and let's take a look at the exterior tour. Then I'm gonna take you in the interior, and then of course we're gonna do some POV stuff, and then we'll end it up with some final thoughts. So stay tuned, we got a lot of stuff to go over, so stick with me and let's have a great time with the Alfa Romeo Giulia. All right, let's do this exterior tour. And I mean, I don't know how much I have to say for you to understand just how nicely designed that this Alfa Romeo Giulia is. I mean, I saw it in the parking lot when I picked it up, and I absolutely did a flip because, yeah, it's just super nice. So right into it, let's take a look at these daytime running LEDs. Super nice main headlight right there. They do have the cornering feature, so they will do that. Nice big intake right there. The nice Alfa Romeo badge is also right here. And then we can pan out. I just love the front design. It hasn't changed much over the years. It's become more sleek over the years, but hasn't really changed much. But I don't feel like they have to because it's so solid. All right, moving on now to the side. You can see we have those iconic Alfa Romeo rims. A lot of the times when you see the Alfa Romeo on the street, you're gonna see these rims. They pretty much don't have any other option. Alfa Romeo badge right there, and the Alfa Romeo logo brake pad, as well as the Estrema badge right there. I love the fact that it's there. Would never take that off. We got some carbon fiber here for the mirrors, which is very nice. It's getting scratched a little bit though. I can already see it. Then we have these one-touch lock and unlock doors here. Side profile from all the way back up. I'll back up. You can see just how narrow it is, just how small of a car that it actually is, but it's super nice to look at from any angle. Okay, so let's move around to the back since it's a little bit darker because of the sun. You can kind of see those taillights shining through. Again, hasn't changed very much over the years, just maybe a little bit more sleeker than usual. And then we have the Q4 badging right here, as well as the nice Alfa Romeo badge. And we have the Giulia, or the Giulia. I've been calling it the Giulia all week because it's just been fun. And then we have a really, really nice and clean rear diffuser right here, as well as some big boy exhausts. So you know there's going to be a decent sound out of these guys, but when the idle is on, you're not going to hear very much. But decent sound out of this guy too. Last but not least, of course, we have the trunk space. Let's pop the trunk. I've got some orange juice. I was doing some shopping this morning. I forgot to take those out, but there we go. Have plenty of room in the trunk. You can probably fit pretty much anything you want. Fold the seats down, you're all good. You can fold them down from actually right here, which is super useful, but there's not a lot of clearance vertically. Horizontally, maybe, because the back seat doesn't have that much room, but it's still not too bad. So with that out of the way, let's get in this thing and let's take a look at the rear seats, then the front seat, full interior tour, and then of course I'm going to take it on the road and do a POV drive for you guys. Let's get right to that. All right, let's start off in the rear for the Alfa Romeo Giulia. Let's go in here. Let's see how I could step in. Oh my God. So what's so weird is that the way that this is positioned, the way that these seats are designed, I have so much more legroom, or feeling like I have more legroom, even behind my driver profile, than I did last week in the Cadillac CT4V, which was seemingly a bigger car. The Alfa Romeo Giulia is a smaller car, so it's really weird that I have this much room. And the headroom is pretty fantastic. So other than that, back here we have these two vents that are very Ferrari-esque, Italian inspired, I'll say. Very nice though, they bring the air to me very well. And we have the two heated seat buttons. Yes, this does include two heated seats in the rear, so not too bad for winter if you plan to drive this car in the winter. So I like that as well. Overall, the seat comfort is very cool. I like this like fakeish kind of carbon fiber back here, as well as a little speaker. It's comfortable. It's surprisingly roomy and surprisingly comfortable back here. We also get a double sunroof, which is nice. You can see the one up top and the one just above me here, which is really cool. Yeah, I really like it back here. It's comfortable, but let's hop up into the front seat. Let's take a tour of that. All right, let's open this door here. Up front, we have, I love this black and red trim. Very nice. We have this fake carbon fiber kind of thing here, but a very cool touch as well. Some basic controls here. And then our memory seating is right down here. We have buttons 1 through 3, as well as the other seating controls and the Alfa Romeo badging right there. Let's hop in though, because it's my favorite thing to do every day, is to hop, oh yes, right in here. It is such a nice steering wheel. Start stop button right here on the steering wheel, where we see that on the Ferraris as well. So I am just a fan. If you don't know, I am a huge F1 fan, so I love Ferrari and everything Ferrari. So it's pain, just if you get the reference. Anyways, Alfa Romeo is also great. So the steering wheel isn't massive, and it doesn't need to be massive because this is a compact car. So we have very little controls here. We do have some volume controls, some media controls, as well as the cruise control and lane keep assist buttons are right there. And then I have, look at these column mounted paddle shifters. Look at that. It doesn't get any cooler, guys. It's so cool, and it's so satisfying to engage these. I'm engaging these like once or twice per driving session in this car, and let me tell you, there is a lot of driving sessions in this car. And then over on the left hand side, some lighting controls, the automatic start stop button on or off. You have your illumination controls, these vents that we saw in the back as well. Then we have a mix of analog and digital gauge cluster, which I don't hate. And then I have to use this button right here in order to go through and flip through the menus where I can see fuel economy and different stuff like that. Not a lot of information here for the gauge cluster, but enough. I don't really care. I usually keep it right there, and that's about it. And then we have our infotainment display screen that kind of looks like it's like one with the car. Like, it doesn't stand out. It's just like a flat panel with a screen inside of it, which is a very interesting look. I do like it a lot. There's very simple stuff. It does tend to lag a little bit, like on startup, and even when I kind of use my hands. But when I'm using this little media controller down here, things are a whole lot smoother actually. So I can go into menus and stuff like that. I can go back, I can back out. But basically this menu has the navigation, you know, the phone stuff, driver assistance settings, the climate settings are here too. So I can go in here and check out the climate stuff. So I can control it all from in here, whatever I need done. And then I can go back out. I can have the performance stuff, so I can choose which gauge I want to see. So if I want to see, you know, technical gauges, I can pop that up on the screen, no problem. And it just gives you a whole bunch of menus, just like this one, where you can see pretty much anything, any aspect of the vehicle that I want, which is cool. Then I can have different vehicle information. So like tire pressure, engine oil, and then the drive mode explorer, which is going to show us the different things that you get with these drive modes. So in the, you know, basic comfort mode, it's like a balanced mode where, you know, the torque limiter is off, comfort steering, shifting is comfort, pretty much everything is comfort. This is the comfortable mode, right? Then we have the A mode, which has comfort everything, and also, you know, normal gas pedal and everything like that. So it's kind of like the eco mode almost. And then we have the D mode, so full sport mode, everything on, you know, as max as it can be. But what's funny is there's no control anywhere here to turn the traction control off. I just can't find the button. So it leads me to believe that you may not be able to fully turn off traction control in the Alfa Romeo Giulia, which is a little bit interesting for like a sportier car. But let's move a little bit lower. I have my different HVAC controls. They're all right here. Anything I could want. I have my heated steering button and my heated seat buttons is there. Dual zone automatic climate control is great. Then we have a little bit of storage where I keep some spare keys. You know, you can just keep some spare change here. The nice cup holders, and we have, again, this nice carbon fiber like thing. I just think the overall look is just fantastic. Look at the shifter here with the little Italian flag. Gotta love that. And this little place for the key fob. I mean, I think that's what it is, because there's nothing else that could possibly fit the way that this fits. So I'm assuming that this is, in fact, for the key fob, which is cool. Then we have, this is how we control our driving dynamics, stuff like that. So DNA, like I showed you before, we can flip through them. I usually like to keep it in sport mode though. This is the volume control, skip, and I can do a whole bunch of other things, turn it off. And then this is my media wheel that I could, turn this guy, and quick access for the settings and stuff like that. Then right here, I keep my wallet there, but you can actually put your phone right here and it will slide down into this guy and charge, as well as we have some USBs and the aux cable, and a USB-C is right there as well. And then just what the passenger sees, I almost feel like the passenger could have almost gotten another screen here if they lifted this up. But this to me looks very Ferrari inspired. I love it though. Really nice trim here, really nice the way that it flows. It looks sporty, it looks European, looks Italian. You gotta love it. So, and look at these seats as well. We got the Alfa Romeo badge embroidered on the seats. It's black. There's not a lot of crazy trimming here, but I don't care. Then you have this thing that's gonna slide in and out for you for your leg support. It's very nice overall. All right, so there you have it. That's the interior tour. It is very fancy, very Italian inspired, but let's get to where this thing matters. Let's take this thing for a test drive. Let me get the GoPro going and we'll get right to it. Okay, so POV time now. You're on my forehead in the driver's seat with me, and you can see just by looking at this how nice it is to sit here and to drive down an open road. It's so fun, right? Like right now I'm just in N mode, the balanced mode, but I can still push things. And we could still get up to some speed, So, it's so much fun to drive. Like the two-cylinder, like I said in the beginning of the video, the two-cylinder doesn't really affect too much. I mean, it's still a fun little nimble car to scoot around in, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I've got these column-mounted paddle shifters, which once I get to the end of this road, I'll engage them and I can show you how I'm using them. I'm literally using these paddle shifters like once a drive, every drive, and it's just so much fun. But let's first talk about some fuel economy numbers. So, I have been pushing it this week quite a lot, quite often, pretty much every drive. I'm almost always in sport mode. I'm never in the eco mode. I'm never in the A mode or anything like that. I rarely go in it other than to see what it would do with the suspension. But I'm still getting the 10.9 liters per 100 kilometers, which isn't great, but also isn't terrible. And I feel like if I actually tried to be fuel saving in this car, I feel like it wouldn't be that much of a challenge. I feel like on a road trip, on lots of highway driving, because I do a lot of city driving, so on lots of highway driving, I feel like this car would be very, very efficient because of the 2-liter, because of the small turbo. So it's things like that kind of like allow you to have the sports car and maybe, not spend so much at the pump, not spend so much to have fun. So that's really good news as well for the Alfa Romeo here. So there's two ways that I could engage manual mode. I could either just start clicking up the paddles and it'll automatically realize what I'm doing, or I can take the shifter down here, slide it over, and now it tells me what gear I'm in. I'm in manual gear 5, so we're gonna stop. Gonna do some downshiftting into first, and then we're gonna take off here, and then I can upshift myself now. And it does let me hang it out pretty well, which is super nice. So like I can go down and up as I please, which is very nice to be able to do. And I got a speed bump here, so I'm gonna slow down. Actually, it's like one of those stop signs combined with a speed bump, so there you go. So now we go up through the gears again. And yeah, it's just fun to use these things. Every single time I drive this car, I am using this thing, and it's like, okay, I'm done with that, going straight now, pop it back over into drive mode. There's no lag, there's no stuttering, there's nothing. It's very comfortable. And as you can see, I'm on like kind of shaky, rocky roads there. I don't really feel that. This suspension is quite pillowy though. When there is a lot of big craters, because I drive on these Quebec roads, when there's a lot of big craters on the road, I tend to feel like I'm in a dryer, because the suspension really does, especially on the rear side of things, really does bounce you around a little bit. I don't know if you could see it just happened right there where I went really high up in my seat. So it does happen a little bit, not a lot, but it's still good that that's there. Like I can even throw it into dynamic mode or sport mode, and then I could have the suspension off. So right now it's going to be a very rough ride. I'm going to go over these, like I'm going to feel that bump, but I can press the soft dampener active button and it will activate my dampening. So I'm in sport mode and I have a comfortable ride. So this is just really meant to do both. It's still a little bit less comfortable than just in the normal N mode, and obviously in the A mode as well. The A mode is mainly used for traction. So when you're like driving in heavy rain, heavy snow, whatever, you want to put the A mode on because it kind of activates the all-wheel drive fully. I know that I actually believe that this car is a rear-wheel drive bias. So it is all-wheel drive, but it has a bias to the rear. It kind of feels like that when I'm driving. So yeah, comfort's good. The steering is good as well. I'm really happy with the steering. I feel like I have control. The steering wheel's not absolutely massive, so I'm not really worried about losing control of the car. It kind of feels like a go-kart in some senses. And I think I maybe said that before, that it feels like that. Almost got absolutely taken off the road by a FedEx truck. Holy good, all right. Holy crap. All right. So yeah, it kind of feels like a go-kart, the way that I could throw cars, you know, that I could throw this car into corners and it just kind of holds. The limited slip differential definitely does help things in that area, but yeah, like I'm going to get onto some smooth road now, so it's going to be a little bit nicer. But yeah, it's just been a really decent car to scoot around town with and to kind of, you know, enjoy this water view with. You know, don't need to go too fast, but you can if you want to, and then you have paddle shifters, so you can really engage yourself in the driving. So yeah, the driving part, or just the average daily driving part for the Alfa Romeo, is super, super solid. You know, obviously you're paying a lot of money, so you're not getting that much performance, like I said in the beginning, but does it matter? That's really going to be a preference thing, whether or not that matters to you. But for me, this is enough. So with all the driving stuff out of the way, let's park this thing up one last time, unfortunately, before I have to give it back. And I really don't want to do that, but let's park it up one more time. Let's do some final thoughts for the Alfa Romeo Giulia Estrema. Let's park this thing up and I'll get out and talk a bit more. Well, there you have it. So let's do some final thoughts for this wonderful Alfa Romeo Giulia Estrema. So overall, I spent a full week with the car and it's just been a great car to drive. Now, we do not have the Quadrifoglio. We do not have a crazy amount of horsepower in this car, but do you need it? Personally, I don't think so. I've had enough fun with this 2-liter turbocharged engine than I probably would have had in any other car this week that was on the list of cars that I could get. So really, it's going to come down to preference. The people that buy these Alfa Romeos are going to be people that just really love the brand. I am obviously one of them. I do like the Alfa Romeo brand, although I do admit that they are very, very overpriced to the point where I myself cannot even afford one. So that's kind of where we are with things, but it's a great drive. It's a great daily driver. It's a great grocery getter, and you can have some fun with those shifting paddles there. So really, there's not a whole lot to complain about other than the price. That's the most unfortunate thing. So if they were cheaper, I think we'd see a lot more of them on the road, but maybe that's Alfa Romeo's goal and they just don't want that many on the road. With that being said, that's going to do it for the Alfa Romeo Giulia this week. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe for more videos in this style. Kind of switched it up this week if you've been watching me for a while. But yeah, that's going to do it. So I'll see you in the next video. See you in the next week. See you in the next vehicle. Take care.